wanna show you, and I wanna hold you, till the end of the world I would go to, just to reach you, cause you're worth it. All my love you deserve. Hey, let's make.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? And welcome to another episode of The Light Skin Perspective. I'm your host, Kenan Jerome Floyd, with my main man,
comedian Mo Green, in the flesh, in humanity. Yeah.
You keep starting every episode like you're Teddy Riley.
Hey man, I gotta start low and then work my way up.
Start
That's how I do it.
and then you end up fucking it up.
How do I mess it up? Why? Is there some specific script that I have to do the same way every time?
Well, I mean, let's at least make it good.
How's that bad? That's straight.
I see. Never mind.
What are you talking about?
Like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. You can also follow us on Instagram at LSPcast. You can also follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok at Kenan J. Floyd, Kenan, J to the Floyd, as in pink, and my co-host Mo Green.
Comedian Mo Green on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok as well. And we also have the Light Skin Perspective podcast on TikTok as well.
Today we are joined by two very special guests. We have Sere Altabrando.
Hi there.
All the way from Pennsylvania. And we have Lisa Wentworth all the way from Connecticut.
No.
Oh, my bad. Where are you from, Lisa?
Amherst, Massachusetts.
Okay, cool. Massachusetts. I'm sorry about that.
That's all right.
You ladies like to say something before we get into the spiel.
I just looked up Soho Karen, and I really do look like I really do
told
look
you.
like her. I don't even read the article. I hadn't looked at the pictures, and I could put on a hat and it would be very close.
I was just surprised she was acting the way, because I don't know, you don't usually see like younger, attractive women acting like that. So that was like, I was expecting to see, I don't know, it just threw me for a loop.
Since when?
Like I wasn't as upset. I was like, oh, she's cute, so whatever.
You haven't been to California.
Yes, I have twice.
Oh no.
Twice.
Anyway, Happy New Year, everybody. This is our first episode of 2021. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, Happy New Year. Yeah.
Wait, is it Happy New Year or New Year's?
New
New
Year.
Year.
New Year's Day. So we're
Yeah,
celebrating.
you can say New Year's Day, but
When you
usually
say Happy New Year's, you're saying Happy New Year's Day.
So if people say Happy New Year's, it's the possessive. Like it's like
no, people say Happy New Year's. They're not thinking about day at all. They're saying it because that's just an ignorant way of saying it. But that's a good explanation.
Now saying Happy New Year because we're
Yeah.
in it.
happy.
Yeah.
It's not.
But in the hood, we'd be like, Happy New Year's. That's just,
Yeah.
Well, that's because y'all put S's on the end of everything.
We put S's on the end of things, and then we take S's away where they should be taken away, too, from certain names as well.
So Dominicans.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. They be putting S's on stuff.
I'm trying to think St. Patty's Day, which is correct, with a D or a T? It's a D, right? Patty? St. Patty's
I think
Day.
it's Patty's Day, but nobody says,
Nobody
Nobody
no.
said
no
it.
American talks like that, though. Like, our T's sound like D's when we talk fast, you know?
Mhm.
But we put T on the end of period.
Yeah, if you're a homosexual that lives in Atlanta,
Period.
period, or you're a woman, that's a fag.
The reason that we brought these
Period.
period.
You gotta put your finger like this, because that emphasizes
The T
period.
at the end.
Period. You know, you have to.
Word. So we brought these ladies on the podcast today to talk about a very interesting situation that transpired. What was it, last week? The week before?
It was last week, but they just identified her like yesterday.
Yeah, at the Arlo Hotel in Soho of New York City, where jazz musician Kenan Harold was attacked by, at the beginning we thought it was a
His son.
Oh yeah, his son,
14-year-old son.
Harold Jr., who's 14 years old, was falsely accused of stealing a woman's cell phone. And what I wanted to, just to give a little bit of context to everyone and to our listeners, I want to show the video of what happened.
Yeah, I couldn't find. Oh, yeah, you got it from IG. Okay, cool.
Show me this on my phone.
Show me. No.
You don't have to explain nothing to her.
All right, here we go.
Please. Show me this on my phone.
Show me. No.
You don't have to explain nothing to her.
Take the case off. That's mine. Literally, get it back, please.
Are you kidding me? You feel like there's only one iPhone made in the world?
No. Okay, then show me the. Show me all
No,
my.
you get a life over there.
No,
What's
go
on your
over there.
background? You better go use find my iPhone. Go do that.
Find my iPhone is on.
Can you
On now.
come in?
Right now.
No, you can't. No.
I'm the manager of the hotel.
I don't care.
He will
This is
right
my
now.
son.
Hey, and
Didn't you see me just come downstairs out of the fucking elevator?
I'm trying to help, man.
No, but you're not helping.
I
What
am.
you're being is disrespectful.
No, I'm trying to settle this
No.
situation. I'm asking
My son has nothing to do with her.
No.
I'm trying to figure out
we're
what's
ready to
going
have
on
my
in the
phone.
lobby.
Then show me the proof. No, he's not leaving. Show me the proof.
Are you
Show me
kidding
the
me?
proof.
You better get on.
I need you away.
Let's go,
I
kid.
need you away.
I'm sorry.
Better get on. We have your, what you see two black people?
No, I'm not letting him walk away with my phone.
Better get on somewhere,
No, please
lady.
get my phone back. I cannot not have my phone.
Listen, get your ass on.
Show me this.
All right, so that's what happened.
Sere, why did you do that to these loving black people? You want to explain yourself?
I was on a lot of drugs, it seems like.
Yeah.
I mean, she's 22, so I am just like very flattered a little.
I mean,
She's 20.
no, go ahead. So you're older than 22. I'm guessing.
Yeah, no, it's Kenan and I. We were in school together growing up. So I'm Kenan's age.
Oh, okay, cool.
I'm 22.
So
I
what,
didn't realize it's like it's for me. It's hard for me to go in on this situation because she's such a smoke show. It's hard for me. I like abusive women.
Well, did you see her touch the manager's shoulder even?
Oh man, that was a turn on.
She's like, get my phone. She totally.
Yeah, she was
absolutely weaponized that.
She's used to getting home. But let's be serious. In all seriousness, she was an asshole for that shit. You know.
My God, she assaulted two people, not just one. Like she assaulted the kid and the manager dude. Like
But the manager was helping her.
and she,
I will say this. To shut the bitch down completely, all he had to do was like, bitch, just get the fuck out my face. That's all he really had to do. And I'm not putting it on him because she's an asshole.
Right.
But to me, that would have just shut the shit down completely, like immediately. You know what I'm saying? Like I understand. Oh, you don't got to show her nothing if you didn't steal anything. But you know, people are filming, and like in this day and age that we live in, if somebody's bugging out like that, and all you got to do is just go like this to shut it down. But then again, like he's a kid, the father's upset, so you don't know like how emotions are going on, and hindsight is always 20/20. But she was a dick. She should know somebody took something before you accuse somebody. And on the kid's part, does that look like you? That's it.
well, this is where I think it comes from, because I've been in situations like this before. It's all about respect and the right to exist. And when the father was saying to his son, this is just my perspective, he basically said, you don't owe her anything.
not a thing.
Look,
Right.
we have to look at this from a historical point of view as well. We have to look at this where if this would have happened 50 years ago or 60 years ago, that kid could have been lynched in more ways than one, arrested, gone to jail or whatever, because that kid was the one that was always going to be wrong. So when it comes down to it, it's, lady, you're the one that acted this way. We didn't act this way. You acted this way. So you are the one that has to deal with the consequences. There's a difference in coming up to a person and saying, hey guys, I lost my phone. I don't know if you guys have seen it.
Yeah, exactly.
Similar to the one you have. I'm not accusing you of anything, but could I, take a look at the phone or like something like that? But instead, she's yelling at these people that she doesn't.
Yeah.
And for some reason, she thought she could get away with it. Like she thought she could just go up to a stranger and just yell at them and not suffer any consequences. Which I think the question is, why is that?
Well, I think historically, too, just being compliant and going along isn't going to prevent it from escalating. She was hysterical.
Yeah.
She was, like I said, the same way she weaponized the fact that she's young and cute and touched the manager. She was weaponizing being hysterical. A white woman being hysterical because of the actions of two black men is going to be responded to much differently than if she'd come, said, can I see, sorry, like, have I seen it? That's not going to get the same response and attention that she got. And she's 22. There are going to be very few consequences for her.
Well, sure. There's another video, the security footage that I actually want us to kind of like take a look at real quick as well. You guys can see it, right?
Yeah.
So here's the.
When she like tackled him. Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Oh shit. She had, you know what though?
She assaulted two people.
She had to be on something though. Like, come on, man. Like, that's ridiculous.
Well,
I will say that kid needs to go to the gym or get some iron in his.
What if he had stood and not let her take him down, and she had bounced off like she got hit?
Well, let
she would have sued him.
Let this be the last day that light-skinned dudes let white tackle them to the ground.
He's a 14-year-old kid. He's probably like 80 pounds soaking wet, and his father is a jazz musician. I don't think like martial arts or anything is like at the top of the conversations at dinner. Like they're talking about Duke Ellington, not like Frank Dukes from Bloodsport or some shit.
Let me get my trumpet.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I don't think violence is something that, like if your father's a jazz musician, like Michael Jackson wasn't known for being a scrapper,
Joe Jackson was.
Oh, yeah. That probably was a bad example. I was going to say El DeBarge, too, but then his father was abusive, too, so, like, fuck it. Jazz musicians are abusive. I take it all back now. I take it back.
Jackson 5 movie on VH1?
Yeah. A long time ago.
Have you seen the Jackson 5 movie? Okay, well.
Long time ago.
Scene in it. You remember that scene where who got spanked? Was it Tito?
I think, one of them used to could never keep up with dance. It was either Tito or like Marlon.
There was one where Tito kept stealing his dad's guitar, and they broke a string on it. And he comes in the middle of the night. He's like, he puts the bell in his face. He's like, you better not fucking mess up. And then they played "I Need Your Lovin'." Anyway,
I Need Your Lovin'. I don't know the song.
It's an old song.
I know though.
So it's interesting how she was tender enough to touch the manager to get what she wanted, but she came full throttle when she had to tackle the kid. Like she picked him up off of his feet.
That's a really, really good point, because the same tenderness that she showed to the manager, she could have used that same tenderness towards the kid. But people just treat us different. You understand what I'm saying? Like when they're not our color, and especially if you're just a young black man, we just get the short end of the stick more times than not when it comes to these types of situations.
Well, go ahead, Lisa.
I was gonna say, most all the time, you get the short end of the stick. And what I think about this whole situation is if the person who had done that was black, they would have already been arrested. There would have already been assault charges and everything. It's bullshit once again. it's like entitled people doing whatever they want, saying whatever they want. And so she's like, I'm Puerto Rican, but truthfully, with all her mask on and stuff, she looks white.
Yeah.
She looked white, and she was certainly acting very Karen-ish. Once again, just accusing somebody without, any merit to it. I was in a store with my girlfriend, and she was actually a pastor, had a lot of money, and somebody walked up to her and told her to empty her purse, and she hadn't taken anything. She had like tons of money. Truth be told, I had taken something that day. They should have looked in my purse. But here it is again, don't judge a book by its cover. And you can't just assume something about somebody, is what I'm like kind of trying to say about that. Like, you can't tell by looking at somebody, you can't just assume that this kid stole this. And it was very obvious too, like he said, we just came from the elevator. We came from up here. You came from over here. Like, it's ridiculous. And then to tackle him outside, screaming like that and whatever. And then I started, I Googled her name, and all she's doing is trying to save face now. And she's upset at how she's being portrayed.
I didn't research it that deep, but did she say why she thought it was him? Like, what transpired before that point or whatever?
No, she just said, oh, I asked somebody else. You didn't see that part when I asked somebody else. I'm like, not like the way that you asked them. You might have said, hey, have you seen my cell phone or or whatever, but it wasn't the same way from what I read.
And then this is the thing. Who like in a hotel lobby or whatever steals a phone, right? I stole your phone, Lisa. We're in the lobby together. It's 4 or 5 people. And then I just start using your phone in front of you.
Right. How stupid would you be?
Who the fuck? There's no. If I'm gonna steal some shit, it's gonna be, you're not gonna see it, and I'm gonna leave. I'm not gonna stare or stick around. So for her,
and if
for her
he did do it like that, he's the stupidest thief ever. Like,
yeah, exactly. It doesn't. Logically, it just doesn't make sense. But I did do a tiny bit of research on her. I saw somewhere else that she had like some issues with cops, like before, like public drunkenness,
public drunkenness, and
in February, she was removed from a hotel lobby for making a scene and charged with public intoxication.
Yeah.
And next day got a DUI.
Yeah. So she's a person that, I mean, she's a feisty.
She is a suspect. Like she's been arrested twice. She already has a record, and I think she got arrested twice this year. She's 22 and got arrested twice
this year.
20. Got arrested twice in the same year.
She's a feisty Latina, man.
And in LA and in New York City.
Right.
They're not nothing hotels. Like, she's.
Hold up, she was arrested on both coasts?
Yeah.
Well, she has a warrant.
She hasn't been arrested in New York, has she?
No, but there's a warrant out for her from the NYPD. So it's like, you're arrested twice in California, and you have a warrant for your arrest in New York City.
I owe 100.
Her mother was charged. I just have this up here. In California, her mom was charged with assaulting a police officer. Also,
they fight. They feisty.
Was with her in the.
They're crazy.
They feisty Latinas, man. In Hartford, we got I don't know if she's Mexican or whatever, but it's a lot of Latinas. They get in, whatever. So, I mean, that spiciness comes with the territory of Latin women. I'm not making no excuses. That's just how they are. But you don't have to be white, essentially, to be a Karen. Is what I'm learning from this.
Well, yeah, I mean, and also another thing we have to bring into the conversation too is a class thing as well, because apparently she was a popular girl in school. Her boyfriend, I think, is someone that's like really rich or like something like that. She's from like I think she's from like Simi Valley, Ventura County, which is like Santa Barbara's like out there, and they got kicked out of a hotel in Beverly Hills. So I think a lot of time I just think she's just used to just being handed something.
They call that influenza.
Affluenza.
Right. Affluenza.
So yeah.
Well,
no consequences for your actions at any age. Like, especially I know when you're young, you kind of don't really think there's any consequences to what it is that you do. But it appears that this is just what she does, and it usually involves, it appears that she's drunk or high or something when she's doing it. So,
And apparently
not
there's
an
not.
excuse.
And apparently there's not too many ramifications when she does it, because that's why she
Right.
continues to do it.
Somebody should shut it down.
It's happening when she's young and she's getting away with it for now. So I guess get it all out your system now. But she's not on a good path.
Who knows? In 30 years, she could be the one yelling the N-word in the CVS store. So I mean,
Goody.
so I mean, you know, I
That would make me want to assault somebody.
I was thinking though about the Central Park, the Amy Cooper earlier this year, who was a white woman. She was actually Canadian.
Yeah, I was thinking about that too. The dog.
Older now, she lost her job, and I believe she had to move out of her apartment. Like some things like that, where she faced consequences, sort of. But that's what it really bothers me about this rich 22-year-old is she doesn't have full-time employment to lose, and I don't know that I want those things to happen to her. It doesn't make it. I don't know.
No, I mean,
go
ahead.
I mean, is she gonna get kicked out of? She's in college? No, she's not. Like, how do you punish her? Like, that's, I guess.
I don't know, and even with the assault, she definitely assaulted the two men, but usually men don't put assault charges on women, man. That's something that's rare, especially in that instance. If I was them, I would do it to try to kind of teach her a lesson and try to squeeze an apology out of her and let her know that you can't just run around just accusing people of stuff that with no specific basis, or at least be civil about it, like we said before, and ask questions or whatever. But I don't know.
My question is, all right, this is my question.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna loop back around to what you said, because I think black men, I think we're at fault of this a little bit too. But my question is, why do you think, why do you think that when it comes to white women, or in this case, non-black women being involved in dangerous situations where black people in general, I'm being very specific. This isn't people of color. This is black people being put in danger by non-black women specifically. Why do you think there's not a bigger conversation about that? And the reason I'm honing in on women specifically is because the large conversation when we talk about white supremacy and anti-blackness and stuff is always from the male perspective. It's always, well, it's because the men set up the patriarchy, and as a result, these things happen. But when we start speaking about things of, okay, well, there's women that are actually involved in these things too and support this system, why do you think those conversations are mostly avoided rather than looked at in depth?
Anyone in particular? Because they, white women, we're upholding it. What benefit we do get from that? We have to uphold white supremacy to continue getting the benefit that we have obtained out of it, even if it's less so than a white affluent man. That's why they don't.
Okay. Well, what does that look like though? What does that mean? Like if you were dialed into the system, what would you do to kind of maintain a white supremacist system?
But that's what you do. You call the police, you go to the manager. It's like the ultimate Karen thing, but it is a weapon. You don't have to. I mean, she did perpetuate the violence by tackling him, but it could have just been, you know what I mean, an officer walking in and doing it for her and taking it off of her hands, and you get to be removed from it while making sure it exists.
Okay, I can see that. How
I
about
think that's why they do it. Why aren't we talking about it is a paradox of not wanting to be seen as performative and centering yourself versus knowing the right thing to do. I think is why, should I say something? Should, like, who, that's, I think, the first thing that's going through people's white women's heads.
Nobody wants to be
My place.
nobody wants to be like the point person or like the leader in charge.
But even if you're willing to do that, then you have to question, well, am I making this about me? Am I trying to be a hero? Am I trying to be like the woke white woman who steps in and isn't like the rest, kind of a thing, rather than letting someone else handle it? And I think we've talked about that in our personal conversations, Kenan, where if I'm at a demonstration with a friend, I will put myself like bodily between her and someone who's acting aggressive, because I feel like that's my place because of the privilege that I have. And even like, well, they can handle it. Like, they can do it. Like, why would you assume that they want you there? And it's the kind of thing where it's like, it is a paradox, because you don't want to be disrespectful by being like, I don't think you can handle it. You obviously need me, a white woman, to step in and handle this. And I get to save the day versus putting myself on the line, you know, and sacrificing what benefit you maintain by going along with the status quo.
Well, I think white women in the Black community have a very complicated history, because on one hand, a lot of Black people like white people, whether it's for professional reasons or whether it's for I don't know how to say what a word for love is, but you know, like there's interracial dating and like there's stuff like that too. So there's one aspect, but then on the other side, then there's also Black people that it's hard for them to trust white people, and that's from anywhere. You understand what I'm saying? Like, it's not exclusive to, oh, I don't trust the Ku Klux Klan. Well, obviously you don't trust the Ku Klux Klan.
Right.
But it's the liberal chapter that comes in and says, hey, we're here to help, but we don't necessarily. But I think what happens is I think that a lot of liberal people that come in do come from a place of economic privilege as well. So it kind of seems performative in the sense that they're the ones that want to speak, because they're like, well, let me talk to the manager of the world and let me talk to the manager of racism so that we can stop. Right. And what ends up happening is that person ends up over talking Black people. So then now Black people feel a certain type of way where they're like, I mean, we invite you to the cookout, but you don't have to monopolize it because people are going to pay attention to you anyway. That's the thing about how a lot of people feel about white women specifically. White women specifically are protected by the world. That's the reason why a lot of institutions exist. So sometimes from like a Black perspective, I'll just finish, just let you go, Sere. From a Black perspective, it's like, okay, you're speaking for us, but they're going to listen to you anyway. you know what I like, that's like, it's like you're not really doing and I'm just saying, this is some viewpoint, you're not really doing us any favors because they're going to listen to you anyway. You know what I mean? So that's like the pushback that you get a lot from the Black community when it comes to help from white women. Anyway, go ahead, Sere.
The little hand up is we're protected as possessions. I just wanted to clarify. We do have a very protective status and we do benefit from it, but it's not as autonomous beings either. But sorry, I wanted to go off what you said about not trusting and not knowing when it's going to turn. Like, if when do they flip a switch? Like, to what point are you doing it is also always going to be a thing. Taking like a real physical example, are you going to stay there when between you and your friend and someone acting aggressively when the crowds disperse? Or if it's a stranger, are you going to do the same thing? I think, yeah, it's absolutely valid to distrust white women on that level of they're judging every single interaction that way. There's a very self-aware element to these women going to the managers and calling the police. They're making the decisions of if they can do this, when it's okay, at what level, and they're making the same ones about when to say something and when not to.
Well, also, I think people also know like the trigger words, and that's like, for example, this is what happens when a lot of movements become trendy. Like, for example, you have the Me Too movement and you have the Black Lives Matter movement and all that stuff happening together, right? And sometimes it starts to converge, right? So I remember there was this case where Mo, how old was that kid in Brooklyn that the older white lady accused him of assault? So,
When was this?
So a few years ago in Brooklyn, there was an older white lady that a little black kid like brushed her butt.
Oh, I remember.
Oh, was he was like 6 or something, right?
He was
like a baby.
Child. He was like 7 or like something like that, 7 or 8 or even 9, I think. And he had a big backpack on because they were coming home from school, and he passed by and he turned and he brushed the woman with his backpack. So like he didn't feel her, he didn't even know he was touching her. He just brushed her, right? So she comes outside and she acts like she's calling the cops, right? And she's all in his face, a 8-year-old kid, right?
He's not. He's 9.
9?
Okay.
He claimed she claimed he groped her. This is 2018. I just pulled it up.
She's on the phone. And while she's on the phone, she specifically said, this little black boy sexually assaulted. And the way she said it, like when she said sexually assault, she was like, sexually assaulted me. And it was like, she was like, oh, I want to make sure you heard me correctly. This little black boy sexually assaulted me. And she like did her body all like this, all like dramatic and stuff. So the kid's mother is like yelling at her and she's like, yo, what is your problem? Like, what is your problem, right? And she thought she got away with it until they showed that they actually had footage from the camera. And they were like, oh, by the way, this is what really happened, right?
Yeah.
And then afterwards, she's like, well, I'm sorry that I, traumatized black boy and I who I am and this. But it's like, but you did it.
Oh, it's always not who they are.
Right.
This wasn't me. Like,
are you really sorry though? Like, you do this all the time and then you're like, oh, I'm so sorry. It's like, no, you're really not. Or you would stop doing this shit. Like,
I think we're just able to have like an open conversation about it, like between the two parties. I think it would solve a lot of problems.
There's no political line on this. Like you said, that's the liberal white trendiness about it too is really, I mean, I've had discussions too where it can be very vicious, even between white women, if you try to call in. To be accused of that then that becomes a thing too, which shouldn't matter at all. But yeah, it's not a political lines thing. It's just a ego, awareness, privilege, everywhere thing.
I don't know. I'm just trying to. I feel like I was on an infomercial. Anyway.
Wait, what? I'm on an infomercial?
No, Mo.
Oh, because of the TV thing. Yeah.
No, it's not. What? Say what?
Look like you're on an infomercial.
I'm just experimenting with the background, trying to make it. I don't know.
What were you saying, Lisa?
oh my gosh, I just think this whole thing, like, nowadays people just think they can do whatever it is that they want. Like, it is definitely mostly like we're seeing a lot of Karens, and honestly, like I Google them sometimes. I'm just like, what the hell is wrong with people? And or when people are standing by and watching people do this kind of stuff to people or abuse people, it's like we do have to stand up and trying to figure out where your place is and what's the right thing to do. I gotta say, like, I've stood up for my friends in the past, and I'm doing it shaken and scared, but it's the right thing to do, to like use your privilege, the privilege that I have, for good and not for freaking evil. Like, why would you want to use that, to take people down or to hurt people or to bring them to another level? It's like I just don't understand that. And I see it so often now.
Maybe
daily.
it's vindictive.
It really is. It just seems like do you not see yourself? Like, oh my God, like, really? And yeah, just why don't you ask somebody for some help? Like, I don't know. Everybody's just so hair trigger, everybody's so pissed off all the time, and anything you say or do, people just feel like they can act and say and do anything because you said this or you did this, and it seems crazy to me. It's like, it's not how you're supposed to act, white or not, or whatever, or Puerto Rican or whatever. You're not supposed to do that. You're not supposed to freaking tackle 14-year-old kids in a hotel lobby. You're just not.
Yeah, I don't think that it's exclusive to white women. I mean, I just think it's easy to pick on white women, but
they've been acting up a lot lately.
Well, it's weird because the three of us are comedians and stuff, and it's like I have a lot of jokes about white women and stuff. So the vitriol that I get from like white women after they hear me like do a set or see me on TV or something, oh my gosh, like the way they just come into my DMs, like I've gotten blocked by whole networks, Mo. Like, oh, well, you said something disparaging about white women, and first thing is when I ask white women out. I'm not good. I'm not good on the picking up the white women thing because they always find my jokes.
I can't help you with that one, man.
Like, first of all, you said this about white women in 2016, so.
I mean, I still haven't found that talent show video from high school, but there probably weren't any white women jokes on that yet.
No, I wasn't involved yet, but there was plenty.
There were.
I feel like to derail somebody's career or like limit their opportunities because of jokes that they've made on social media like 5-10 years ago. So unless you're saying death, like, if you're like trying to incite violence or saying death to some people, man, because I do a lot of racist humor currently right now. But my thing is I make fun of everybody. I make fun of myself. Like I think stereotypes are hilarious if you can do it in a funny way, and just for a way where we can all talk. I point out your flaw, you point out my flaw, and now we're having a conversation. That's why I do it. But to take something like that and just derail people, man, like that's like this cancel culture is something I don't understand this shit at all, man.
I don't understand that at all.
It's bullshit, especially with comedians, especially when you have quote unquote comics that hop in and fucking pile on that shit too. Yeah, you should have said that because you're not supposed to. If you want to do comedy the right way, then you're supposed to punch up, not punch down. And it's too easy, and not everybody could be Dave. Shut the fuck up.
My favorite thing is when they said, "I never thought that guy was funny."
Like when I'll give an example, like when Louis C.K.
I was just gonna say Louis C.K. had really good jokes.
When he had his whole situation, like, with the jerking off, whatever. We're not even gonna go into like was it right or not, whatever. But anyway, it was so many, like in this comedian group I'm in, so many, or just comics in general, in groups everywhere. They were piling on Louis C.K., and these motherfuckers that's probably been doing comedy 6 months, a year, never get booked, not funny. They don't even understand the concept of setup and a punchline. And all these people have like some type of opinion of this fucking master comedian who's been doing it over 35 years and it's worth like over like $70 million or whatever it is. You know what I'm saying? Who has great content. Yeah, you know, he did some low scumbag shit, but they were like trying to attack his art, not even attack the situation. And it's just like, yo, I said big voice, small comic. Shut the fuck up, yo. If you don't like what he did, that's cool. But to try to come at him and come at his art, you know, you understand? Man, get out of here. Especially like when you stink, when you suck. Like look at all the great like a lot of great comedians. Even though he went through what he went through, a lot of great comics they didn't attack him. They just like, you know, hope he gets through it. But the ones that was talking the most shit were the ones that stink.
Yep.
I don't consume anything since then, but I'll quote his old jokes.
Right.
And just add a disclaimer and be like, but ill, what a creep. But like, that was a funny joke. Especially the one he does about how going out with men is like going out with a half lion, half bear. And you're like, just hope this one's nice, but it's like he was the half lion, half bear, like total creep.
But what I was trying to say is like, if you like are an actual good comic and you're getting booked and you're getting calls and you have work to do, you don't got time to be like attacking like you know or trying to chastise a legend like that because you working on your jokes and you're going to get booked and you're taking care of things. You know what I'm saying? These people, they don't get any type of recognition. They don't get booked. They don't get any. Just do an occasional open mic. So this is that was their time to shine. That was their claim for fame. Oh yeah. In 2017, I shitted on Louis C.K. on my Twitter. Go check that out. That's their fucking credits. What's your credits? I shitted on Louis C.K., I shitted on Patrice O'Neal, and I shitted on Bill Burr. Those are my credits.
Wow. I saw Louis 3 times in person. I thought he was fantastic. This is all pre-jerk-off shit, but it was he was fucking awesome. Love him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Can I tie it back to the Karens and the cancel culture real quick though? Yeah. I do just worry that the extreme nature of the ones that go viral make it to we can all remove ourselves from it. Whereas it might be your best friend from elementary school who just acts very cagey near like the young black boy with the backpack, like that kind of a thing is very common. And if we aren't noticing that,
well,
then these extreme cases, that's how you build up to it.
That's the reason, Sere, that's the reason why I'm very entertained about how much, not entertained, that sounds like
bemused.
Amused. Well, not even amused, but that's why.
Bemused.
Bemused? Mean?
That's a word.
Okay, what does it mean?
I mean, I think it means like amused in a disappointed, like you're bemused by it. You're like, yeah.
I don't know. Let me look it up.
It's a word.
I question. No, bemused is a word. It means puzzled, confused, or bewildered.
Yes. So.
Like, huh? Bemused.
I am flabbergasted since they're all using big words now.
Yeah, I'm like chewing on it.
I find it extremely interesting. The hold of social justice that's happening in Montoursville at the moment. Like, good. By the way, good job. Shout out to Sere, everyone. Montoursville is a shit show.
What?
Montoursville?
Our home with where we grew up, where I live now again.
Montoursville, Pennsylvania.
Back here. Yes.
I lived there. I was the only black kid in school. And my family was the only black family in town, and everyone was really racist. But we were back. So anyway, so now Sere, she's leading the charge of I don't know what she's doing, but
I don't know if I'm leading the charge, but
there's black people in Montoursville now, right?
There are some black people in Montoursville. Some. A lot of biracial kids in the school district is where we're seeing a lot of discrimination and stuff happening.
So back in the day, they were making fun of old Kenan, but now in 2020, they're getting curious. You know what I'm saying, Mo?
I'm curious.
Out there having some beige children now. I bet their parents and grandparents are amused.
You mean bemused?
This is the worst like defense of someone not being racist I've heard here yet. Was someone saying his grandchildren are half black and he lets them in like his house and like welcomes them. I'm like, that's your standard for not racist.
Yes.
That is where I live.
They passed the paper bag test.
So basically what it is it's like now you have people like that I grew up with them on Twitter, so they're like, oh my God, can you believe that this town we voted for Trump? And I'm like, yes, nigga, yes.
He was here Saturday before the election.
I'm not surprised. There's Nazi rally in Montoursville like a month ago there with Nazi. It looked like that one scene in Indiana Jones, Mo.
Mm-hmm.
Authentic Nazi flags and brown shirts.
I'm trying to think, but it was over the summer because it was the same weekend that right after John C. Lewis passed. So was that July, August, early August? Yeah, no, a literal neo-Nazi march.
So I'm just saying it's interesting how now people are like, oh my God, did you know that Montoursville was racist? And I'm like, no shit. I speak for people when I say no shit.
What's the name of the town again?
Montoursville.
Montoursville.
Yeah, it was actually a restricted covenant community when it was founded. So until 1968, the deed said like you couldn't sell a house to black people here. Well, a lot of them that were developed.
Of course,
yeah,
not.
They like to pretend they're not racist in this specific town.
Yeah.
There are other towns around by just making sure there are no black businesses or black families or anyone.
Of course you can't sell houses to black people down there. We don't clean up after our dogs. We don't cut our grass, and we play our music too loud. So I get it.
Actually, that's Mo and his family. That is not the Floyd family.
We don't need these.
You remember? Did you ever go by my house as a kid, like my dad, and it looked like Sanford and Sons? It still kind of does at his house.
Yeah, the garbage.
I'm not doing anything for anybody's property values, so.
I love that show.
Dummy, before I put one across your lips.
That's pretty good. You got your first impression. That was actually pretty good.
Oh!
You got your first impression. Now you got to build off of that one. You finally got one.
I have to randomly start doing jokes. So I was in the barbershop and Red Fox walked in.
He's like, listen here. I'm going to put two across your lip.
Well,
oh my God, that was good.
Then
Fisher Price Kenan's first impression.
Impressions. I'm horrible at impressions. I'm horrible at
comedy. No, I'm joking. No, you're good. No, you're good.
Oh.
You're good.
Damn.
No, Kenan's funny. He's funny. I would never knock his comedy skills. I will knock his roasting skills. He roasts like an autistic German that just learned English.
That would be how I would do it.
I am nice to people. I am nice.
That's my problem. That's my problem. It's too nice.
Roast.
I can't roast people.
You gotta roast, man. You got that's what keeps your mind sharp. You gotta make fun of each other.
I roast in America.
Like every I mean, I know this is an old joke, man. Every podcast I look at your goatee and all I can think of is you and me go from different worlds. You like to laugh at me when I look at other girls. So you got a Darius Rucker face, man. Some say you're crazy, and I wonder why. I'm such a baby, yeah, the Dolphins made me cry. But there's nothing I can do. I only want to be with you.
I'm sorry.
Yo, Kenan the most pro-black. How you mad pro-black, but you got a hootie goatee? And you
Oh
like
my God.
You like white bitches.
No.
Like, that shit is mad weird.
Sorry. I'm trying not to laugh.
Nah, I do this all the time.
Wow.
I
I
know.
always get
I
it.
just
First of all, the blackest dudes like white women. I did a show on New Year's Eve. There was this drunk woman in the crowd named Sere, right?
Where they at? What? No.
With Sere, right? And she was drunk, and I told the joke, and then she goes, "Yo," she's like, "Yo, I date black guys," and I was like, "Who do you date?" And she said, "My black boyfriend's name was Glenn," and I was like, "Oh, is it an accountant or something?" She's like, "No, he was a blood that sold crack cocaine." I'm like, "We got gangsters named Glenn now?"
Oh my
No,
God.
I had this Polish chick one time I used to work with. She grew up in like New Britain, Connecticut, which is pretty ghetto, and she was like came over when she was 10. Like English was her second language, and she just embraced all the ghetto shit from New Britain. So I'm trying to talk to her, and she's like, you too light skinned. I'm like, what the fuck? You came to America and this is what you learned? This is what you embrace? She told me I was too light skinned to mess with. And she's a white woman from Poland.
Yeah,
And English is her second language. So I can relate. I can see what you said.
she grew up watching Blade
Oh.
in New Jack City.
It's weird like that though. But then you'll see like a lot of our powerful black sisters in the industry, but they'll have white husbands. You know, like Serena Williams. You got Meghan Markle. You got Eve. That's why I had this one status. I said I wish I was white so I can get a good black woman though, because that's it seems like.
First of all, my issue is I sound like I date white women exclusively.
No.
I think people kind of get mad. People kind of like get mad at me.
No, you sound like you alphabetize your soup.
I do.
Before you eat it. Like I have to like put like
Kenan, me too. I do that too.
Like listen, I have this thing like when I eat my soup, I have to make sure it's like A through Z first, and then I like eat it, and I put like pepper, and I put spices, and I like go on like Match.com, and I get like mad white chicks. That's like what I do.
That's what it is. Oh.
That's my Kenan voice.
I really like your Kenan voice. I want to find like the footage of the sci-fi fantasy movies that you made when we were kids.
Oh, really?
And then to make that your Match.com profile, because I think that way.
Oh, yes. I was really nerdy. I was really nerdy back in the day.
You still are.
But whenever you're talking about like, oh yeah, I was like picking up.
You got more swag though.
I see you and like Jeff Steinbach in your.
So is roasted just being a dick like you are to him all the time? Is that what roasting is? I gotta practice.
He does it to me all the time anyway too. He's just being good right now.
I'm the bigger.
Okay, I'm just checking for the future. Like I gotta get on.
That's all it is. You just bust each other's balls about. But see, women don't really do that to each other. Women are more supportive. Like, oh my God, your bra looks so nice. Look at your hair. It's lovely. It's wonderful. You never see two women come into a room and start shitting on each other.
Because we use bitch speak.
Y'all do it behind each other's backs though.
Yeah.
That's how y'all do it.
No. You use bitch speak to say it clearly in front of them. Like, wow, that shirt looks so great on you since you had the stomach flu. Like, you know what I mean? You got to phrase it like, oh, yeah. Everything's just backhanded.
Yeah. It's more back. Yeah, it's more subtle. It's more subtle. You do like the subtle burns. But you ain't never see like two chicks come to a room like, damn, bitch, your titties lopsided. Like, ew. Why don't you get the right size potatoes, bitch? I can see your strap. Like, why your white feet are so dirty? Why your bra strap showing, bitch? Like, nah, y'all always like nice and supportive. It's so phony. Start roasting each other.
Well, first,
roast.
It's an amazing household. So I have high self-esteem.
Your household could have been that amazing if like watching Thundercats was against your religion. That's not an amazing household. He's Jehovah's
against my religion.
We're all ex-Jehovah's Witnesses, so I mean not all, but me and Kenan. So there was like some things that we were forbidden or advised not to do. And
I don't think Mo really was. I think he just hung out.
no, I was deep into it. But like a show like Scooby Doo, because it has like a lot of ghosts and monsters. If you wasn't in the Jehovah's Witness family, more than likely your parents like, now Kenan, you can't watch these cartoons because it has, and the Jehovah's Witnesses always talk like robots too. Kenan, you can't watch the cartoons because there are some type of demonic influences in the background. You know what I'm saying?
That's creepy shit right there.
Creepy as fuck. I'm throwing some sauce on it for some funniness, but they do have a condescending way, like, now Kenan.
Oh yeah, for real.
You know, in Romans chapter 10, verse 5, it says, thou shalt not watch DuckTales. Because if you do, you'll lose your privileges, and then you can't
I read that this morning.
You can't mow the Kingdom Hall lawn for free.
I was getting
microphones or take coats.
I was getting saucy pictures. What are you talking about?
I was making fun of your Jehovah's Witness upbringing and how your parents talk to you when they say you can't watch DuckTales.
No,
you got to watch the playback. I'm not about to do the bit again. I'm not doing it again. That's not happening.
The last time the Jehovah's Witnesses came to my door and we talked, they said it sounded like I'd seen some things. I don't know what.
Yeah.
What?
Well, maybe they thought you
they
like
came to the door and we're chatting. I know it's just like pre-COVID and whatever, so over a year and a half ago, and we're talking back and forth, and there are three of them, and yeah, we're just like having a conversation. And that's how they're like, seems like you've like seen some things.
You probably sound, because you're intelligent and you read and you probably like.
They were like, I just want to get away from this lady.
All you gotta do is tell me you worship the devil directly.
I'm not.
You shouldn't stand near me, man. I'm such a sinner. Oh my God, you probably catch what I got. But you can back up.
You know, it was like we're just gonna like back away slow. Like we just won't mess with you. Like you're not gonna try to talk to you about this anymore. Like you seem like you've got your own stuff to deal with. And
but if you're polite. But a lot of times,
I'll end up inside if you're polite. Don't do that.
Yeah, if you're polite,
water.
Yeah, they take it as an invitation though. If you're polite, any salesperson, if you're nice to them, that's why you don't look at bums directly in their eyes when you're going to the supermarket, because they will ask you.
Oh, they're people. You talk to them.
They will too ask you.
But the thing is, once you get caught in their bum gaze, it like locks you in like a tractor beam. And then pretty soon you just gave up $100. You know what I'm saying? That's part of it.
I think I did the opposite to these Jehovah's Witnesses is what I'm saying. They were just like, you've seen some things and we're going to go.
Oh, so you was being satanic then?
They weren't scared. It was like, they're like, yeah, you don't.
What did you say for them to say you've seen some things?
I have no idea. There was a sign on my porch that said, everybody love everybody, all sexes, all bodies, all creeds, whatever. And then at the bottom, it said, except TERFs and Nazis. And they said, like, oh, we saw your sign. And I just was like talking to them about my beliefs. And they were just like,
plus you got the dark hair, like you got the dark hair, dark eyes, you got the dark shirt. You definitely have this Wednesday from Addams Family thing going on. So I could see.
I'm like a 22-year-old
Christina Ricci,
wealthy chick,
but your head is not as big as hers. Christina Ricci had the big forehead before Rihanna. You know what I'm saying? She's the white version of Rihanna.
Gotta angle my head better.
But you do. I could definitely see you being in the occult and some type of demonic, Aleister Crowley type of religion. I'm scared of you right now. I want you to turn your camera off.
When Mo is to the camera,
I'm roasting you right now. I don't know. I shifted over.
I'm like gonna get out a voodoo doll.
When Mo is to the camera, he looks like a Macy's Day balloon.
You said what?
You know what? Nothing.
Close to the camera.
Because your joke stinks. When Mo when Mo he's on the camera and like he looks to the side, he's like looking to the side. That's my joke.
It doesn't matter what he says in your voice. It's too funny. I don't care
Oh
what
my
you say.
god.
If you just
Oh
talk
my
like
god.
like when you hey Mo, when you like turn your when you turn like when you turn on your microphone, it's like your microphone's like on, and it's like you're like talking in and stuff.
So, anyway, what were we talking about?
now I'm just thinking about Kenan is like doing Madden quotes, like, now here's a guy.
Now here's a guy.
When he turns his mic on, you can hear him better.
Do me a
Sorry, I'm sorry.
see if you
That
can
was funny. That was good.
my stand-up DVD.
The talent show one?
Yes.
I
Somebody
don't know.
somebody was going to send it to me, but apparently the DVD got stolen because they knew my greatness was on it.
Damn.
I have the Class A DVD. I don't know who had it. I don't know.
Why would somebody steal your performance? That's stupid.
Like the copy of the schools, I think is like
It was
I want to say like almost like 20 years ago, we did a lot with VHS. We recorded like a lot of skits, right? Like maybe like 5 or 6 of them. That's when we started recording skits. And then like one of my like friends, like tertiary friends, not main friends, but like side friends, he was hanging out. And he stole the DVD. Like what dude, not DVD, but the VHS, what person steals a VHS of a bunch of people just like playing around with skits? And you're not in the skit at all. You just took it. Like, that's the most frivolous bullshit I've ever seen. That's like stealing somebody's underwear after they wore them, though. Like,
hey Mo.
I'm about to put these shits on.
I understand why you would steal someone's used underwear at least. Like
yeah, I get it. But
I understand that more.
Yeah. Maybe that was a bad analogy, but to steal my tape of us just playing around with some skits, man. Like get the. And you're not in it. I could see if he was in it, then he had nothing to do with it. And like a few years later, he's into writing movies now.
You got water in your struggle beard.
Oh, I do. Yeah.
Struggle beard.
I do. No, I do got a struggle beard. I do.
Okay, cool.
But at least when I open my mouth, my beard doesn't say, "I only want to be with you."
Guys, okay. So what do you guys think about my goatee, ladies? I don't know.
Hey, Bobby,
Oh, it's lovely.
I heard you talk about you want to get it trimmed. You're straight. That's all. I don't have.
Yeah, I just want to get it lined up a little bit.
Kenan, your goatee comes with a tackle box and a Jeep Wrangler.
I think you're just jealous. It looks amazing.
No, you gotta be here. My shit is thin as hell though. But I think about
Struggle beard. I like that.
It is. I got the beard oil too, and it doesn't work at all.
Oh, look at that.
Store Santa beards that you strap to your face.
What'd you say?
Nothing.
Let's say the joke. Let's say the joke bomb again.
Oh.
Your beard's like on your face, and it's like it's like your beard, and it's like struggling because it's been through like struggles like 1946 slavery, like when the blacks came over from the Easter Islands, and like your jokes be mad long. He's like explaining the punchline. Because it was like a struggle, like 1946.
For a minute, you sounded like Beavis and Butthead.
It does.
Make the face you used to do at the end of all your jokes in high school.
I made a face.
You had like a thing.
Oh God, I was.
Oh no way!
No.
Oh my God, that's the best.
That's funny.
Do it.
Ugh.
Oh, come on.
You might as well go with this.
Do it.
I don't.
My daughter says
that's my joke.
So
I don't. Oh fuck.
You remember that shit? Stop lying.
I don't remember.
it was like a really. I think about it because I don't do comedy, but I often.
I thought you did do comedy.
No, I don't. I like comedy. I talk about comedy, but I don't like perform comedy.
Oh my bad. So I apologize because I was roasting you, thinking you were a comic. I don't want to have.
I thought she was when you said the 3 of you were comics.
I thought Kenan said all of us, but I
Oh,
don't
I
want to
don't
have.
mind. No, I like
I,
being roasted.
I don't want to have an Aries Spears Zoe Williams situation where Aries Spears thought Zoe Williams was a comic and he was roasting him,
Yeah.
and then Zoe Williams wound up punching him in the face. So I don't want to. I
I
thought you was.
can't.
Only reason why I was teasing you a little bit because I thought you was a comic. I apologize.
No, I don't mind at all. What I was saying is I try to make jokes and be funny, but they don't land. So then my like thing for when my joke doesn't land is, well, I'm pretty. I don't have to be funny. I just say it.
Right.
That usually gets a laugh when I skip, even if my punchline didn't.
Sere, if you punched Mo Green in the face, I would enjoy that.
You gotta punch him in his whole face.
Like Aries Spears and Zoe Williams. If we had a Spears Zoe Williams situation right now with Sere and Mo,
Yo, you should show him that video. That shit is hilarious. It's literally like 30 seconds.
when we're done with the episode.
Okay, cool.
Okay, so real quick, going back to what we were saying, I think we kind of
Veered off.
veered
Oh,
off.
one thing I wanted to say real quick before you finish, and this is pertaining to the topic. I think a lot of times, like a lot of reasons why a lot of these Karens have this battery in their back, feeling they can do whatever it is they can towards Black folks, is because so many people that aren't Black that do bad things to Black people get away with it. You understand? If there was a lot more ramifications, if there was a lot more justice across the board, then a lot more people would think twice before acting like such an asshole in those situations. So that's a lot of it stems from that. It's just like there's certain people that you want to make jokes towards or talk shit about because there's certain type of ramifications that can happen to you. You understand what I'm saying? So I think that's the case with a lot of these situations.
And I think to a certain extent, I think we are the word. I think we fuck, what's the word, Mo? Where we allow it to happen. What's the word? Complacent.
Why do Black folks?
Yeah, you're complacent.
We're complacent. I think we're
but it's the same reason though. We're complacent because you know what I mean. We fight back, and nothing really. A lot of us don't get justice. So that makes you kind of like that makes you jaded. I think not beyond complacent is jaded. You know what I'm saying? Because complacent is like going along with it, but jaded is like, damn, there's nothing I can do. It's like whatever. This is just what it is. Fuck it.
I'll tell you how complacency works and why it's a thing. Mm-hmm. As a comic, I'll tell jokes about white people, right? Mm-hmm. And it's fine, right? If I say something specific about white women, which I have plenty of jokes,
Sure,
I will get attacked by white women about my joke. And it's not just, oh, I didn't like that joke. I thought it was you are racist, you are sexist, you're misogynistic, you're this and that, you're blah, 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 blah. You need to stop talking about white women. You need to do this, and then they end up blocking me, and then they tell all their friends. And then their friends come into my DMs and be like, you've lost some fans because of X, Y, and Z, and you said this, and you said that, and you said, and it's just like, wow. It's like, wow. That's
a lot of white women like that are like that in general, though, not just with Black folks when it comes to comedy. Because look at Bill Burr. Look how many people attacked him when he did his jokes against like white chicks or whatever.
But that's my thing. When with the Bill Burr situation, it turned into well, this is a misogynistic thing. And I actually had a conversation with people with white women, and I said, well, what if a Black woman said what Bill Burr said? Because I Black women that said what Bill Burr said verbatim. And they're like, well, if a Black woman said that, then maybe possibly it's a race issue, right? And then I said, okay, well, what if a Black man said it? And then one person said, well, if it's a man that's saying it, I'm just going to assume that it's misogynistic, so I'm not going to listen to him. So a part of me is just like, okay, well, are we trying to get rid of racism or not, sis? Because sexism and misogyny definitely a thing, but racism is a different conversation. And unfortunately, if I'm talking to you about racism from your parts, we can't conflate it to another issue. And I think what happens a lot of time is we deflect a lot of times. So when it's time to sit down and have a conversation, it's let's have a conversation about this. No, we're talking about this, right? It like that's what's happening in like the Black Lives Matter conversation. The Black Lives Matter conversation specifically about police brutality. Now, when it's time for us to talk about killing each other, that's a different conversation. You understand what I'm saying? But it's almost like it's a conversation that we don't necessarily have often on the public floor. You know what I mean? So I feel that's the same way when we talk about racism from the part of the fairer sex when it comes from white women. When we say, hey, let's talk about white women being racist. But then it's like, well, no, we're still talking about misogyny and sexism. That conversation another time.
So you're saying it's a lot of deflection.
Yeah, but the conversation of misogyny and sexism is so broad that we never get back to that conversation about racism.
You said, bro.
To do with us. It could be racism between black women and white women. I mean, that if we want to have that conversation, we can have that conversation. But or the ladies can have that conversation or whatever. But
Kenan, you said broad.
Broad conversations.
You said broad. This basically is a broad conversation.
Broad.
A white broad.
Hey, Mo is intentionally trying to sabotage my career in Hollywood.
No, I'm not. The words and views expressed by Mo Green does not reflect on Kenan's bulbous light bulb 40-watt skull.
So when I get nominated for an Oscar in 2026, they're gonna pull up these episodes on Twitter and say was on a show with a guy that said this.
I didn't even say nothing.
But it was actually kind of witty because you were saying like a broad conversation.
Yeah.
I was like, look at my cat.
It's a double entendre.
Yeah, that was. I thought it was clever. It was a good broad joke. I liked it.
You know, like Kenan, Kenan's just straight laced. He's not funny on the podcast. That's not his job. Kenan is Opie, and I'm Anthony. If you know anything about Opie and Anthony, Opie ran the show, and Anthony was the actual talent. And that's what's going on. That's the dynamic here.
Yeah, Mo is a hack, and I am not.
Kenan's head, you ever see like an arm, like a stegosaurus forehead? It looks
Stegosaurus.
like a Kenan's a Negrosaurus. You're a nerdosaurus.
Oh wow.
Still lives in his mama's basement. Anyway,
no. I live in my mother's house though. I do. This is true.
When you were saying about really wanting to be specific about the conversation of racism to white women and things, I think my friend Jessica says the suffering Olympics, using the ways that you are oppressed to say that, that yours doesn't. Well, I'm oppressed as a white woman, as a sexual assault survivor, as this, as that, are the things I deal with. Like, that should be just completely removed. Like, if we're having a conversation about something, you can drown in a puddle or an ocean. You don't need to bring your own suffering into it every single time. It doesn't need to be, this is sexism because it came from a black man. Like, that's absolutely deflection. You're just...
Which all the conversations are important, but it's just one of those things where it's like, we're trying to be empathetic to your plight as well, but at the same time, we keep seeing instances of white women weaponizing the police and all that stuff. So it's like, when are we going to talk about it?
I didn't even know about the suffragette group, the Colored Women's Salon, I think is what they call it now, but there was, the like super racist suffragettes, and then the ones who wanted to be inclusive. But then when it came down to it, all the white women left the inclusive group because they're like, well, we're going to go join them. Like, we wanted to do it this way, but it's not going to work. So we're just going to go over here now. That's like the history of it.
Yeah.
It's like, we tried, but it didn't really. Sorry, we're going to just.
So back then, a lot of white women fought for their right to vote against black people's right to vote. So yeah, I get it.
Absolutely. But I like didn't even know that group had existed. I knew that there were divides in the movement about race, but I didn't know there was like this, like, it's just been erased. It's just been, I'm 30 something years old and I just learned that this year.
Well, yeah, and it's like, well, we talk a lot about like Emmett Till and stuff like that. Like Emmett Till was killed in 55. And it's interesting that the woman that accused him of whistling at her or sexually harassing her name was Carolyn Bryant. I think she's still alive, even though Chappelle said that she's dead, but I don't know. Anyway, they did an interview with her a few years ago, asking her if she felt responsible for Emmett Till's death, because her husband and his brother, I believe, are the ones that killed him, right? And even after all the history and how the civil rights movement was basically sparked by his murder, she still felt that it wasn't her fault.
She's the one that isn't she the one that went home and told her husband?
But to her husband did it.
That we can remove ourselves like that. That is the weapon of white women is white men.
My thing is, if he didn't do anything to her, then why did she go home and say that to him? That doesn't make any sense.
Which is the point. So basically what happened was she said, he made me feel uncomfortable. You can take that information, do what you want.
Like a conversation. Oh, okay, I get it. Yeah.
And now they're like, well, how do you feel about it? She's like, well, I didn't kill him. My husband killed him.
He's like, listen, ain't nobody gonna whistle like my wife. You gotta go on kill that nigger. Like, what the fuck?
And the thing that we don't talk about either is Black Wall Street is the result of someone, a white woman, or someone thinking that a black kid sexually harassed a white woman. That's the part of the story that we don't talk about. So a whole economy was destroyed because of an accusation, right?
Well, an accusation, not a truth.
And that woman wouldn't hold herself responsible for the actions of anyone else.
And no one has talked to that woman. There's no interview with that woman. There's no interview with anything. So basically the point that I'm making is that we don't know where we would be if that wasn't a thing. You know what I mean? We don't know where we would be as a people if those accusations weren't used against us as a community. And I think that's really what the difference is, because we're not necessarily talking about on individual levels per se. We're talking about on a systemic, we're talking about a system that is an entire system that's used as a weapon. So I think that's why it's important to have the conversation, because we have to be like, okay, it might not be like you per se that started it, but you're still benefiting from it and other people are suffering. So it's like, you gotta be very careful how you use that privilege, because it can be detrimental to other people that are black.
Right. No, I mean, I have 2 young daughters, and we're white women. We don't call the police to come to anywhere. If we needed to talk to them for some reason, we would go to them. You would never. Because that's how it, when Mo was saying like, there need to be consequences, we need to prosecute these people, that is not going to happen until we change the entire system of law enforcement and criminal justice. That's never, they're always going to get the pass. Always.
But you know who stands up more to white women in the black community? Black women. Black women stand up to white women all the time.
Absolutely.
And us, Mo and myself don't really because we think that we might get a chance to get some. So kind of
As of course, the streets is rough out here, man. Shit dry.
huh?
I said these streets is dry, man.
No,
I mean, any opportunity I could get it.
well, I mean, I wish Black women didn't have to do it. I wish it wasn't a thing, but I want to take it as I receive it to do better next time and not internalize it as, I don't know. I think it'd be really too easy to be like, all those Karens are bad, like that, and I'm not like that. So if I get called out, well, then that person's wrong. Because that's all these people, that's not me. That's not me. No, I want to hear it.
Well, that's what Miya said, the girl from the hotel.
Yeah.
That's not who I am as a person. I mean,
well, then she needs Black women friends to tell her.
Yeah, I want to hear. Is there audio of her copping pleas? I would love to hear that. Her explanation.
No, he did an interview, but they didn't have the audio. It's on CNN.
Yo, why they always do this, man? I want the audio. I'm tired of.
I have to read transcripts.
I'm trying to read transcripts, and I'm tired of like the original video is gone. It's always like TMZ or some shit playing a cut up. No, I want the real stuff. So annoyed.
I guess if we've learned anything from this conversation, white women get more Black women friends, and Black men stand up for Black women.
Yeah, of course.
So, anyone else have anything to say?
One of my kids just woke up. They're yelling for me. So I'm gonna go.
Okay, we gotta talk quiet.
I gotta go.
Have to talk quiet.
Right.
Like a smooth DJ. This is the Light Skin Perspective radio station.
Should I say bye?
The Light Skin.
Let Sere say bye. Shut up, Mo.
I'm gonna leave. Thank you. Thanks, Mo. Thanks.
Bye.
Yep.
Thank you. All right, that happens on every episode we have. Someone always
somebody has to take off.
Oh my god, that's hilarious too, because I was like, for a minute I thought my cat's tail was on fire. I was about to ditch too. I made this whole, that's too funny. I made this whole nice new room. I got candles lit everywhere, and my cat's like, yo, what's all this? Oh my god, but thankfully, so far I think my house is not on fire.
Lisa, tell us what you got going on. Tell the people where they can find you.
In my fucking living room, because there ain't shit to do in the comedy world. I'm looking to do some shows. The only thing I have booked that I know of right now is Mother's Day weekend this year.
Okay.
And that's not until May. I got 3 shows that weekend. But
nice. Where?
I'm not quite sure, but Mika Jean.
Oh, really? Oh,
yeah,
okay.
Yeah, it's for like a Mother's Day weekend thing,
Nice.
so.
She's funny.
Oh, she's hilarious.
And she's I didn't know she was doing. She's been doing comedy like 20 years in Connecticut. I didn't know, but she would always do like private gigs, and like she was doing her own. She was never a part of the Connecticut scene, but she's hilarious, man.
Oh my god, she was so funny, and I did a show with her.
Yeah, she's
Karina, Kareem, and it was like right the night before COVID shut everything down, and it was like, oh my god, it was such a fun show, and I don't know, I was just acting a fool.
But Mika, she liked you.
She was. She liked me, and she was gonna use me for other stuff.
Nice.
And then she said, "Remember, I told you," and she hit me up. So, but yeah, I think I did my last show a couple weeks ago.
Unless this vaccine kicks in or whatever, you know, who knows? Who knows? And the thing about this vaccine too is, the vaccine does not cure COVID.
Not
the
at all.
vaccine, what it does is it triggers your body to build up antibodies. So if you do come into contact with COVID, you already have the defenses there in place. It's not a freaking cure. It's just it's a defense mechanism. That's all it is. It's not a cure.
Well, that's
what some people don't get it.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want anyone to follow you on social media?
Oh God, I'm so old and suck at that stuff. I'm like only on Facebook. I get like people want to smack me because I just don't do anything.
Gotta get your social. At least get an Instagram.
I know, like I follow other people. I must have one because I can get on Instagram. I just don't know how to do anything on there or whatever. I have to talk to my 26-year-old. I'm sure he knows how to do all that shit. He would help.
Thirst traps from Lisa on Instagram. That's how you get the fans, Lisa.
Yep.
Oh my God! Well, I need some because right now the only fans I got going on are my 3 cats, which makes me an old fucking cat lady.
But if you ever watched that movie Funny People with Adam Sandler and Jonah Hill, he said if you make a video and you playing with some cats, you're gonna get like 1 million views, man. That's the way. Yeah, that's the way to bring traffic to your channel.
Oh, that's good to know.
Yeah,
because
yeah.
I know my cat's a big hit on Zoom Church because he joins us every Sunday. It's like, oh my God, your cat!
You already have something like if you start a TikTok and you do like a quick 30-second video with your cat every day, and I'm not talking about your vagina, I'm talking about your cat.
Oh damn! I'm so excited to like put my kitty right on out there. I was hoping to find out where to get some during this next COVID lockdown. Shit. Oh well.
Oh my. Yeah, but start up a TikTok, start up an Instagram, and yeah, that's only 2 you other need, and then start up a YouTube. Oh, you never thought about doing a podcast yourself, starting one yourself?
No, because I just never did.
You like to talk, have a conversation like once a week with somebody, or just by yourself, or whatever. That's the way that when you do like something like a podcast every week, especially with like no stage time, it's just a way to help keep your chops up too, as far as just off the cuff stuff and just talking, and you know what I mean. Like it's still like a level of performance. So even if you don't do a podcast, try to go live every now and again and just talk shit. You know.
I'm gonna have to work on it this year. I said I was gonna get better at this stuff of self-promoting and all that good jazz.
Yeah, because you're funny.
But I really appreciate you guys asking me on. Like,
oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, always welcome back. Thank you for coming and having this insightful.
Oh, anytime. Definitely, if we're ever talking about racism some more, like my friend for the last many years told me how racist I really was. I had no idea until she called my attention to it. So I had to learn the hard way. My father was super racist growing up, and I just didn't know any better until somebody told me, and then I could do better. But oh my gosh, like now it's just I'm infuriated by racism, and I was like, seriously, like the shit that I used to say, it was like, oh my God.
Yeah, but if that's like the only thing you knew growing up, you know what I mean? If that was the norm, you didn't know, but it took somebody to educate you, and now that you know, you educate other people that don't know. You know, so that's how you start to break that cycle. You know,
exactly.
You're an example of this. You're an example. I didn't mean to cut you off, but you're an example of the cycle that was broken. You know? Yeah,
definitely. Because I did not put up with it at all. As a matter of fact, I remember telling my father, "I'm sorry, you can't talk about my friend like that." Like, I think I heard in the Bible, if you got nothing nice to say, you're not supposed to say damn nothing. So shut up. Like, seriously.
Yep.
But yeah, it definitely was hard to stand up to my dad about stuff. But again, it's like you have to learn, and if you don't exercise what you know, then like what's the point of learning something new? It's like you gotta put it into practice as well.
Yep.
I've had some really good teachers along the way too, so I'm really grateful for that.
And that's what a lot of people are really asking for. It's just listening, and then you have to apply it and break that cycle. Thank you so much for joining us, Lisa.
Absolutely, anytime.
We're gonna close out the episode. We'll bring you back in a minute, but hold on. How do I? Okay, we'll put you in the waiting room, but we'll bring you back.
All right.
Oh shit. Okay.
You fucked up the view.
All right. Okay, here we go. Thank you so much for joining us for this special episode of the Light Skin Perspective. Me and Mo got some new microphones, so we're out here killing it. Mo,
Yo, we out here, we stunting right now. We stunting. Got the headphones, we got the microphones and shit, man. Got the green screen in the background. We stunting.
Mo needs a new camera, but it's all right.
Yeah, my camera's ass cheeks.
Get there eventually. Mo, tell them where they can find you.
You can find me, comedian Mo Green, on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok as well, and on Twitter, comedian Mo Green.
Guys, make sure you follow the podcast Instagram at LSPcast. You can follow me on TikTok, Twitter, and Instagram at Kenan J. Floyd, Kenan, J to the Floyd as in pink. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe this video on YouTube. Hit that bell so that you can get notifications when we have a new video up. Thank you so much for joining us, and we'll check you next time.
Also, we have a light skin perspective TikTok as well. So hit that up.
Oh, yeah, sure. All right, have a good night.
How can I show you that I wanna hold you till the end of the world? I would go to just to reach you, cause you're worth it. All my love you deserve. Babe, let's make a date. Be at your doorstep 8:30. Wear the dress that caress your waist. Matching necklace, it has me breathless. City steam for some comedy. Spin to the rust for some poetry. Get Thai same for the martinis. There's so much to do, my boo and the beat. Black eyes style, we can vibe the jazz. Drinks on me, don't bring no cash. You don't have to ask, you deserve. It's all for you. You are worth how much worth? Let me describe your diamond raindrops from the sky in my arms.